But so she started what would become one of the greatest careers on the Underground Railroad. Over 20 trips she took, liberating hundreds of African people. And after she finished up on the Underground Railroad, Queen Mother Henrietta Tubman ended up with all some scared Negroes who wanted to turn back. And whenever I came across a scared Negro who wanted to turn back, I would cock my pistol up to his temple and I would say, dead niggas tell no tales. You go on or you die. But February is the celebration. So that means all of you, California State Long Beach students and students from other campuses visiting, we should always be about the study of who we are as African people. Because your self-esteem as an African is directly related to what you know and understand your people to have done before you were born. If you don't know what black people do, you ain't got no self-esteem. If you don't know who black people are, you ain't got no self-respect. You got to know about black power. How can it be black power if you run around bunny hopping?
Black Queen forever! Black Queen forever! Yo, Black Queen forever! Yo! Black Queen forever! Snow Bunny forever! Yo!
Brothers and sisters, the reason I'm opposed to interracial marriage is not because I'm against the white woman. She's as entitled to as much respect as my sisters are. I don't have nothing against the white woman, or the Asian, or the Arab, or the East Indian, or the Mexican, or the Native American. But black women are the last married in the first divorce.
Hello.
Only 1 out of every 4 black women will ever get married in her life. So if we want to save the black community, if we want to save the black family, we got to marry black women. You got a little self-hate thing in you where you need her to be extra light. We got that. We got that. Black women come in every color, and every color is beautiful. If you want lemon, we got lemonade sisters. If you want butterscotch, we got butterscotch sisters. If you want
he's dead real.
We got African vanilla sisters. And we got 3 big problems for African people globally. What are the 5 big problems for Africans in America? Miseducation, mass incarceration, homelessness and gentrification, police brutality and extermination, and economic apartheid. And all of you in this auditorium today, all my college students and community members, you have to pick one of those 5 problems that you're going to attack. And you're going to have to attack it like a pit bull on a leash. We must crush these obstacles. And the biggest way to crush these obstacles is to create the institutions and the systems that will eliminate their occurrence. The reason we got so many black men in jail because black men can't find work. Why every time we hear about crime, nobody talks about economics? Why when we hear about crime, nobody talk about employment? Do you realize half the black men in most major cities in America are unemployed? Half the black men in most major cities in America are unemployed. That's 50%. White people go crazy when their unemployment rate hits 7%. White people go crazy when their unemployment rate hits 7%, and yet half the black men in Los Angeles been unemployed for 50 years, no crisis. Criminals are not born. Criminals are made by criminal governments. Nobody is born to be a drug dealer. Nobody is born to be a robber of people, a stealer of cars, a hustler of credit cards, a scammer of identity. You're not born to do that. But when you are miseducated and then economically castrated, when you're socially segregated, sooner or later, you will be criminally adjudicated. I'm a school psychologist. My job is to test kids and decide who goes into special ed. My job is to decide who's autistic. Who's reading disabled? Who's math disabled? Who's emotionally disturbed? Who's blind? Who's deaf? Who's brain injured? Who got a speech problem? Who needs special ed for ADHD? Who needs special ed for conduct disorder? Who needs special ed for oppositional defiant disorder? And guess what I've concluded after 25 years of evaluating America's children of every culture? I've realized that most of our kids are not learning disabled. They are lazy disabled.
Come on. Talk about it.
The reason why we got all these black kids in California in special ed isn't because they can't learn how to read. It's because they don't feel like it. And their parents don't feel like making them. Which is why if Dr. Umar was in charge of special ed, we wouldn't diagnose the children any longer. We would diagnose the homes they come from. I'm telling you now, future mothers and fathers of tomorrow, don't you let the school play a mind game on you and tell you your son needs special ed because he got trouble reading. That's not his problem. His problem is he not practicing enough. His problem is Instagram is more important than homework. That's his problem. His problem is basketball is more important than mathematics. That's his problem. Our children don't have an academic deficiency. They have a deficiency of effort. They have a deficiency of interest. They have a deficiency of motivation. You know what my pre-doctoral dissertation was on? It was on the relationship between self-esteem and academic achievement. And we found that there was a relationship. How children... Do you love me right here? Right here? Do you love me? We ain't here to love you. We need to get an education. The boys will be waiting after you get your bachelor's. Get your bachelor's, then worry about the boys. They're worried about the boys without a bachelor's, which means you're going to end up with a baby daddy. Don't be messing these sisters' lives up by getting them pregnant while they're trying to finish their education. First of all, you should practice abstinence if you can. If you're too thirsty for abstinence, use protection. Because you know what's waiting for you around this campus? Herpes is waiting for you. Gonorrhea is waiting for you. Chlamydia is waiting for you. Crabs is waiting for you. Hepatitis is waiting for you. AIDS is waiting for you. Scabies is waiting for you. Warts is waiting for you.
Keeping it real.
I'll tell you how it goes. One day you get your freak on, like tonight. And you wake up in a few days and you got bumps on your privates. And you go to the campus infirmary and ask the nurse, what are you doing with zits on your privates? And the nurse tell you that's not zits, that's herpes. And after a couple weeks, those little bumps, they start to swell up. And you start seeing orange juice and ice cream.
He's talking
You
crazy.
get your freak on. And then one day you're sitting in class taking your finals exams, and those ice cream and orange juice bumps, they start popping.
No way. There's no way. There's no way.
And now you got ice cream and orange juice running down your leg, and it stinks, it smells, you're burning, it hurts, you can't take a shower because it's stinging you. And then when it's time for you to get married, when it's time for you to get married and settle down, you gotta tell your fiance, male or female, brothers, your sisters and sisters, you are one. Tiffany, not a student. I want to be serious. You, queen with the white headband, you two. That's a brother right there. You three. Brother or sister, I'm sorry, my eyes ain't I'm sorry. You are three. That's the three sisters. Now my brothers. You are one. Hand down. Right behind you is two. And you with the black hat, three, that's it. 3 brothers, 3 sisters. I'm going to repeat the question. You're number 1. Give me your question. He's going to bring you the mic.
This is tough. This is tough.
Listen up, listen up. Let's respect the queen who has the mic.
I have a quick question for you. You speak a lot on Black entrepreneurship as well as supporting the Black community with their businesses.
Yes, ma'am.
I am a Black entrepreneur and small business, and I want to know, how do you get African Americans to support you? Because that's my biggest problem, is getting other Black women to buy my product as much as I promote it. So that's what I want to know, your thoughts and opinions on that and how.
Great question. Before I answer her question, because after we're completely done here, we're going to take photos, right? I want you to text me your photo if you want me to post it on my social media. So let me give you my number now. Get your phone out. Quiet. 215.
Hold on, nigga, damn.
Quiet. 989-9858. I repeat it twice. 215-989-9858. Once more. 215.
Bro, got the juice. He got the juice.
989-9858. Great question. Here's my answer. Number 1, I need y'all to quiet down. Number 1, I don't think Black entrepreneurs do a good enough job with customer service and customer satisfaction. We are horrible treating Black customers the right way. Everybody in here has had a horrible experience with a Black business. We gotta do better with service and satisfaction. That's 1. The second part of that answer, good sister, Black businesses need to organize with Black businesses. What did Booker T. Washington do? He started the National Black Business League to organize all Black businesses so they can work together and track the Black dollar inside of the community. What is your service or product?
I'm a cosmetics owner, so I have like lip glosses and stuff like that.
Okay, you're cosmetic. So hypothetically, this is how this should go. She's cosmetic. If you do some business with her, you get 10% off at her bakery. You do business at the bakery, you get 20% off at her daycare. You do business at a daycare, you get 20% off at her car detailing shop. You do business at her car detailing shop, you're going to get the first month of tuition free at her independent school. Y'all see how this works? Yeah. Black businesses are not passing their customers off to other Black businesses. We have to create a cycle where the baton goes to you, and then the baton goes to him, and then the baton goes to him. Too many Black businesses are only worried about themselves. We have to overcome the selfishness of Black capitalism and get into the economics of Black collectivism. Are y'all following me? Black power. Thank you, Queen. Next sister, where you at? My number 2? Right there, white headband. Stand up, Queen.
Hi.
Yes.
So earlier in the panel, someone talked about like the difference between racism being institution-based and anti-Blackness being rooted in the Black community. So I just wanted to know kind of like, what do you think is the cause of anti-Blackness?
Okay, great question. Racism includes anti-Blackness, but you can be anti-Black and not be a racist. You can be anti-white, but you cannot be a racist. Why? Racism is a group system. Group, not individual. Individuals can be bigoted. You can be bigoted against Chinese. She can be bigoted against Latino. She can be bigoted against Arab. She can be bigoted against Anglo-Saxons. But to be racist means all Black people work together to systemically disadvantage all members of another group. In order to be a racist, you not only are prejudiced, you gotta have the power to impact and implement your prejudice. Are y'all following me? Yes. Let me give you an example. If a white person pisses you off, they don't have to worry about nothing, because you don't control nothing. All you can be is angry. But if you piss a white person off, you have to think twice. Her father might be your boss. Her mother might be your realtor. Her cousin might be your son's lawyer. Her nephew might be your husband's employer. Are y'all following me? Yeah. Even white people who don't have power have access to white people who do. Right. All white people are racist because all white people participate, protect, and benefit from racism. Now let me explain the difference between racism and bigotry. Bigotry is emotional. I hate you because you're Black. That's bigotry, right? But that's not racism. Racism has nothing to do with hating black people. Racism is about one thing: control of all resources, all opportunities, and all privileges. A white person don't have to hate you to be racist. They just have to be willing to do what? Discriminate against you to protect in-group power. Did y'all hear what I just said? This is why a lot of you are confused about white racism. You say, I know good white people, they treat me well, they my friends. You're confusing bigotry with racism. They don't hate you, but I promise you, they will never give up their white privilege so you can be equal. Did y'all hear what I said? Every white person in America participates in, protects, and benefits from racism. If they didn't, the system would destroy itself. Racism is not an individual thing. Bigotry is individual. I hate you. That's bigotry. Racism, I want all the power of all the programs, of all the resources, of all the opportunities. I can listen to rap music. I can sleep with black men. I can have black babies, and I will still protect white privilege. Wake up and smell the coffee. Black power. Who's my number 3 queen? Right over here, Black power.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying at all. He is not lying at all.
Listen up, y'all. Queen number 3, then we got the 3 kings. But before she speaks, I want y'all to give a round of applause to Sister Atani and all the black bringing back the Umar out here because there's no longer using Black power. Talk to me, Queen.
I'm a psychology student that also works with special needs students.
Yes.
And my question is to you is like, what made you want to be passionate about that and follow that?
Great question. And who my first brother, so he can bring the mic to you? Who the first brother? Were you number 1? Okay. Well, who my number 2 brother? Don't steal no numbers now. Okay, number 2 is right behind him. And number 3 was the brother with the hat. Okay. So, great question. When I was in the 3rd grade, I decided I wanted to be a psychologist because I was the oldest son of my parents and I didn't have a big brother to talk to. So I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be the person that other children can talk to when they have personal, emotional, and psychological issues that they need to deal with, right? When I came out of undergrad, I was going into grad school to get my master's in clinical psychology. But I heard about school psychology, which I never heard of because I never was in special ed myself. But when I went to the clinical master's program, the director said, you need to go and get your school psychologist certificate because even with your doctorate, if you don't have a school psychologist certificate, you cannot evaluate for special ed. So I got lucky because my undergraduate institution had a school psychology training program. The school psychologist is the psychologist of special ed. And for you, young lady, wherever you go to get your doctorate, I want you to make sure you can get your school psychologist certificate in process of getting your doctorate, right? Because your school psychologist certificate is a master's plus intern program. You don't have to have a doctorate to be a school psychologist. The school psychologist is the only psychologist who can call themselves a psychologist without a doctorate. So I want you to think about getting your doctorate in neuropsych, forensic psych, or clinical psych, right? But then you want neuropsych, but make sure you get your school psych cert. You got me? Because I need you to be able to test in the schools and test in the clinics. My doctorate is clinical, right? But I'm school psychology certified. So I can test in the clinics for depression and eating disorders and bipolar and schizophrenia, and I can go into the schools and test for learning disabilities and autisms and all of that, right? So I want you to have that flexibility to go between both worlds. Now, make sure you come out of undergrad with a 3.5 or greater. That's for all of you. Because if you come out of undergrad with a 3.5 or greater, you can bypass the master's and go straight for the PhD. Did y'all hear what I just said? The master's programs are for people who didn't come out of undergrad with a high enough GPA. You have to prove yourself to the PhD program that you can handle the work, and that's why you go into the master's. If you come out of Cal State with a 3.5 or greater, you can apply straight for a PhD program. Cut out the middle 2 years and go straight for the PhD, but you need the grades. And let me say this to my student activists, because I was a student activist. Don't get so caught up in being a student activist on campus that you forget why you're here. You are here to graduate, and you are here to graduate with honors if you can, So you can get a full scholarship for your master's program or a full scholarship for your PhD. What good is being the student leader if you can't get your grad education paid for? I don't need you to fight the power on campus. The war is after you graduate. You are here to get your credentials. So get your credentials, and then you can join us for the war in the streets. Are y'all following me? Some of y'all making this the battleground, and your grades are slipping because you're trying to fight to change stuff on campus, but you're not making the grade. You're not here to be a revolutionary. You're here to get your degree. The revolution will be waiting after you graduate. Thank you, good sister. Where my brother at? Right there.
So my question for you is, most of our culture's music promotes violence and crimes against our own people in our communities. How do you personally feel about this, and what can we do as a people to combat this?
Okay. When I look at hip hop, and as you know, I'm one of the most critical people of hip hop, the problem with hip hop is we sold it to the white-controlled music industry. When hip hop was in black hands, it was positive, it was fun, it was uplifting. The golden age of hip hop, the 70s, the 80s, it was all positive, mostly. And then once we sold hip hop to the white-controlled music industries in New York City, they turned it into criminal rap. It ain't even gangster rap, it's criminal rap, right? And the only way we're going to liberate it is to take it back. We sold ourselves out the minute we sold our art to the industry. We should have never sold our art to the industry. But black men have to take a lot of responsibility for gangster rap too. You want to know why? Because if black professional men never abandon the inner city, gangster rap never gets created. Gangster rap was created by fatherless black boys. Gangster rap was created by fatherless black boys. If the doctor and the dentist and the pastor and the politician, if the engineer and the business owner, if they never moved out the black community, black boys would have role models where they live. Black boys no longer have role models where they live, so they have to turn on the television and find their role models. This is why every black boy wants to be a football player, a basketball player, and a rapper, because those are the only successful black men that they see. If we don't want black boys to be football, basketball players, and rappers, we need black men to come back into the inner city. Black men abandon black boys, and that's why black boys abandon being better for themselves. That's on us to do. It is the job of the men to raise the boy. I don't care how many women end up raising sons on their own, and I don't wish that on none of my sisters, but I don't care how many black women end up raising sons on their own. It's not their job to turn the boy into a man. It's the man's job to turn the boy into a man. And if her son ain't got no daddy, all the rest of us in this auditorium are supposed to step up and take his spot. In African culture, the men raise the boys, not the single mothers. We have done ourselves a terrible job by blaming single black mothers for not being able to raise boys. It's not their job. It's ours. Black power.
My question is, how can the black community recreate Black Wall Street successfully despite the destruction and discrepancies in the black economy?
It's not hard at all. It is not hard at all. Do you know black people once owned and operated over 500 hospitals in American history? Did y'all hear what I just said? We once owned and operated 500 black hospitals in American history. You have less than 5 today. And almost none of them are black owned. They're financed by white people and white government. All we have to do is have the vision and the commitment. The problem with us is we can't delay gratification. The problem with us is black people are more concerned with how they look to other black people. We will go broke just to look better than the next black person. You know, they did an economic study on black people. They said black people are unlike any other group in America because we're the only group who will buy stuff, not because we need it, but because we think it makes us look better. You have an iPhone. Why did you go get the new iPhone? Because it was available. Do you know black people own twice the amount of Mercedes Benzes as white people? But we have less than 1/3 of the wealth of white people. Did y'all hear what I just said? We have twice the Mercedes Benzes as white people. We're less than 1/3 of white people's wealth. Is Mercedes Benz in black people DNA? Hell no. So why does every black person need to drive a Benz? Because it makes us feel like we're doing better than other black people. Will Smith said it best. Will Smith said black people spend too much money we do not have, buying things we cannot afford to impress other black people we don't even like. It don't matter how much money you make if you don't know how to save it. Everybody in this auditorium will be broke if you do not know how to save money. And my brothers, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you run into a sister who's all about you spending money on her, find you another woman.
He said that brother got some
I did
trauma.
not say don't treat her right. I said if you find a woman who wants you to crash out financially on her for things that she don't need and have no value, find you another woman. Because your money has to go to your community. Your money has to go to your children. Your money has to go to the freedom struggle. We cannot, me myself, I could afford to give a woman everything. I'm not going to do it because it is a contradiction. Listen up. Listen. Yo, you need some ADHD medicine? It is a contradiction of revolution for me to be giving my woman a capitalistic lifestyle when capitalism is the reason so many black people are homeless. When capitalism is the reason so many African countries are in the situation they're in. How can I have a wife looking like $1 million when we got black people who are not even able to live off of $1? Do not be a hypocrite to the struggle by practicing black capitalism. We can do it the minute we make up our minds to do it. The biggest reason why we haven't so far, good brother, is most black people don't want to be black. We want to run away from our blackness. The Mexicans, they love being Mexicans so they can build. Chinese love being Chinese, they can build. Jews love being Jews, so the culture becomes the motivator. We hate being black. That's why we identify with religion more than any other people. What are you? I'm a Christian. I thought you was going to tell me you was black. Only with black people, religion comes first. How are you going to be a Christian before you black? God made you black. Your parents made you a Christian. But people put Christianity before the race. The only thing you belong to that God chose is your race. People leave the church, people join the church. People become American citizens, people give up their American citizenship. People become members of black Greek fraternities and sororities, people leave black Greek fraternities and sororities. People become Muslims, they stop being Muslims, but the one thing you can never stop being is African. God made you African, so we are always African people first. And when we get back to being African people first, we can build, and build. The only problem with black people is we haven't made up our minds that we don't want to be at the back of the line. Who's my final and third? Yes, sir.
Do you feel like black athletes or like celebrities as well are in the frame of being in modern slavery when it comes to like talking about political issues and also I forgot how to explain it, but yeah, mainly that.
Absolutely. Black celebrities and athletes are modern day slaves. The reason why we can't understand it is we think money equals power. It does not. Even on the plantation, there were some slaves who were allowed to work. Are you following me? Having money does not make you free. Being able to tell the truth makes you free. There's not a black celebrity or athlete you know who can speak truth to power. They're too afraid. LeBron James is never going to fight for black folks. Deion Sanders is never going to fight for black folks. You understand me? Jamie Foxx, they can't. I think they're good guys. I like them, but guess what? They will never fight for you because they make their money through the white power structure. You see that? But here's my thing. Why are we waiting on celebrities to save black people when celebrities have never saved black people? You only have a handful of celebrities who fought for the people. Muhammad Ali, right? Colin Kaepernick. You got a few who fought. Most of them, Dick Gregory fought. Harry Belafonte, they walked and marched and financed King. But most black celebrities never support us. You know who built the Garvey movement? Poor black people. You know who built the Nation of Islam? Poor black people. You know who built the Black Panther Party right here in California? Poor black people. None of our movements was built by rich blacks. We don't need them because even with all the Serenas and the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncé's and the Tiger Woods, we are still a $2 trillion people. Black America has more wealth than all of the billionaires put together. So why are we waiting on them when we should be waiting on ourselves? Black power.
applause for everyone. Okay, perfect. So as we transition to this last part of the conference, I know everyone wants to get their pictures. First, I'm going to ask board members and interns to come up on the stage so you can get your picture, as well as our other keynote speaker, Winter. You can come up on the stage as well.
Some good questions. Oh, it's for pics?
That's only the board doing pics.
I'm just looking at her. She's pressure.
You got it first.